Hello everyone, this is a video around some thoughts I had around the topic, how do you know Brazilian Jiu-jitsu is for you? Now, over the years, I've trained with many people who have done it for a while and then stopped or tried it once and not continued. And the reality is, which a lot of us sometimes, certainly if you're watching this video, may not want to admit, Brazilian Jiu-jitsu is not for everybody. It's not for everybody, and it can be even a difficult sell. One of the reasons would be also that it's not really a spectator-friendly sport. You won't really see it on the premium sort of pay-per-view channels and getting the highest numbers, because people who don't do jiu-jitsu would struggle to watch jiu-jitsu or grappling even in general, except maybe the Olympic stuff. Because it's not really a sport which an onlooker or a layman would just look at and know exactly what's happening. It's just not one of those sports. It's a niche sport. Even though it's a good sport, it's a niche sport, and mainly people who watch jiu-jitsu are the people that do jiu-jitsu. And so from that angle, it's not a spectator-friendly sport, and it's like any other thing. Like, there may be people that are into golf or darts or fishing. Like there's people that are into those things, but jiu-jitsu is just another thing which maybe people aren't into. But if you're watching this, you probably are into it, and you probably have some people who are kind of into it or really into it more than you. And so this video is really just to discuss, hey, well, how do you know jiu-jitsu is for you? And you probably have your own reasons. These are a few that which are true for me, but maybe you can relate to these as well. So the first thing about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, how you know it's for you, that you have a healthy competitive drive. You have a healthy competitive drive. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a martial art and it's a sport. And so to a degree, there's some competition elements in there. You have to be competitive. Even if you don't compete, i.e. going to tournaments or fights or whatever, but you have some competitive drive. And that, that comes through in the art when you're training it, because you are jostling for position to get submissions or locks or chokes or things like that, to put your opponent or training partner in a compromising position so then they concede the victory. Hence, it's competitive. And while it's competitive, you really need to have a healthy drive, because your competitiveness can't be at that level where it becomes destructive. So it takes away from the class atmosphere, or you become moody because you didn't do what you wanted to do, and then you become overly egotistical or cocky because something went your way. And it has to be kept in check, and it has to actually benefit the climate at large, and that's what, or the class at large, and that's what helps jiu-jitsu for you, that you have that in check. It's healthy. Like, you compete, you want to do well in classes and in lessons and whatnot, but it's not destructive to the point where you get labeled as like that guy or whatever. Like, it's healthy competitive drive. And with that, even though it's competitive, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, your desire to learn outweighs the desire to win. It's how you know it's for you. Your desire to learn it outweighs the desire to win. In my first class, I got dominated by people who are far smaller than me, and I was just like, what is this stuff? What is this? And so that just put me in this intrigue. And I was so intrigued by it, I just dove into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I wanted to learn all I could learn. And not everyone can get that. I've known plenty of people who have tried it, and their desire to learn hasn't quite outweighed the desire to win. They want to win and they want to do well. And so when I've trained with them, I've kind of taken it easy, taken them through baby steps. However, I was probably one of the only people who would have done that, and so other people would have just seen them as, yes, I can practice all my moves, and this person who doesn't know what they're doing, and eventually that can kind of weed people out, because people don't want to get beaten up all the time. Certainly if they haven't crossed that line where they actually want to learn more than they want to win. And so when you know that jiu-jitsu is for you, you want to learn more than you want to win. And how you also know it's for you is that you find a sense of love. Like, you love jiu-jitsu for what it is, not just what you can do in it. Like, you love the art for what it is, not just what you can do. And why I say that is because, You can be even like a white belt or blue belt or even a purple belt, and you may know of a lot of stuff. What I mean that is like you know of, Kiss of the Dragon, or you know of Donkey Guard, or you know of a buggy choke, and you know of all this stuff, but you aren't able to execute all this stuff in a way that's successful in a consistent way. And like, so you know of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff where you're trying and you're not quite getting, and that can often happen as you start off. In fact, that normally happens when you start off. But you'll love training more than you love being successful at training, and that's what helps you actually stick with it, because when you start off, there's a lot of stuff you don't get and a lot of stuff you won't be able to do, even basic things like shrimps, elbow escapes, all these bridges and stuff that you have to do. Sometimes it's a warm-up session, you're trying to do it and you're not quite doing it, but you love training, and that's how you know it's for you. Like, you love it despite the struggles, you love the art, you love training, and that's one of the things that keeps you going in it as well. Another thing is, well, you take more ownership of it and you find creative expression in jiu-jitsu. Like, you find a way to express yourself creatively. Why that's good is because any different body type can do it. There's people from being short and stocky to tall and lanky and everything in between, high flexibility, low flexibility, and even some, in case of disabilities, ages are able to find creative expression. In fact, they put their own flavor on jiu-jitsu. Like, it's not like a cookie cutter thing. An armbar is done one way, Kimura is done one way, front choke is done one way. Like, everyone finds their own creative expression, and that's possible for everybody. And when you know it's for you, like, you find yourself in it, you know what I mean? Like, you find there's a way that you do things, there's a way that your personality and temperament actually comes in through your jiu-jitsu, how you perform on the mat. So you find creative expression in the arts. And the last thing is that when you know it's for you, that the benefits of doing jiu-jitsu overflow into your everyday life. That they don't just stay in the gym or on the mats. The benefits actually start benefiting other areas of your life as well. Like, you can be more confident in conversations with negotiating obstacles, or just a general poise and confidence you have in other areas of life. Maybe because of training, you're in better shape, and so you have more energy, you sleep better, and you're better with your family because you have more energy, you're stronger, and you find these benefits that you've learned and developed on the mats to be able to translate to other areas of your life, which are for the most part unconnected or unrelated. And that's when you know it's for you. Like, when you see that your life is better because of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, if you train even to say blue or purple belt level, you probably would say that. But these things are just thoughts saying, well, they're maybe unique to me, but maybe there are other things which are unique to you. So, how do you keep going with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? How did you know or discover Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is for you? And these are things that you can use to kind of encourage people who you may think may like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or people that you train with, to help them and encourage them to stick with it. So whatever your reasons are, I know they're good to just kind of think about them and think about your journey in the whole as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. You can rate, comment, subscribe, and tune in for the next ones. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos.